It's the idea that the contracts themselves are native, so you can think of literally any kind of digital asset could be created in theory with this platform. So the coin is one of many, and if this thing actually spins up, which there's a lot to do, in theory we'll have a whole new class of digital assets that you can program, you can invest in, you can trade, you create value, create representation, you can do all kinds of things. So it's a very, very ambitious that way. You might think of it as a next generation fabric. We've had several. They're trying the impossible, which is the next generation. All right, Libra coin is a stable coin. We'll challenge that in a minute. Backed by what they're calling a reserve. The reserve is going to be fiat. It's a basket of fiat, so regular currencies from around the world, and some low vol assets. Always the question is, what's a low vol asset? I think that's going to be sort of tricky. If they were actually to reach $1 trillion, which I wanted to do that to capture you, they would dominate the capital markets. So if you start to do the math to get there, they would become the #1 buyer of all low vol assets on the planet. So you could argue we actually don't have the financial capabilities to support this coin in its ultimate case. So those are sort of things we need to do. And then they state that the goal is to bring 1.7 billion people on the planet that are either underbanked or unbanked. And I'll show you that there's an inconsistency in their approach that will make it probably impossible to get to most of those people. So just a lot of contradictions in the whole thing. The association is a group of people that are based in Geneva, not well defined. They ultimately control it. They're the governance mechanism. They get to decide where this thing goes. They're the only ones that can spin up more currency or shrink it in response to demand. You can't create more currency unless they buy more reserve. So it's a representational token. So think of the US dollar pre-1971, where in theory every dollar represented a certain amount of gold. You could literally knock on the door, trade your currency for gold. That was the whole idea. It derived its value by the value of gold. This is sort of the same idea, and we'll see in a minute that even that's sort of weird. Next, the Libra is a wallet that they're rolling out. That is the only code that in theory is being written by Facebook, controlled by Facebook, owned by Facebook, and distributed by Facebook. It's not the only wallet that will interact with Libra as it gets up, but it's going to be their wallet. The thing I highlighted is this little KYC AML. KYC is know your customer. AML is anti-money laundering. The G20 agree on almost nothing except money laundering. It's the one thing that they take very seriously because bad guys launder money, and all G20 agree with that. So getting into this business without AML, without the idea that we're going to keep the bad guys out, they will not get approval anywhere on the planet, except how do you get to the 1.7 billion when you're going to do KYC? Right, so already that inconsistency, and I'll show you what I think they're really good at. And I'll show you what I think they're going to be forced to do if they're successful. Highly opinionated, but yes, sir.
The Libra KYC, not Libra KYC. Namely, if one wallet requires KYC and another doesn't.
Yeah, guess which wallet wins.
What?
Guess what wallet wins?
Yeah.
In theory, right? And I think that's going to freak out the feds.
So it's not a Libra requirement.
It's
just
a Calibra. Calibra
That's
requirement.
bad.
They claim that they're going to only go where they're registered, only where they get approval. You're only going to get approval if you do KYC AML. So you're already, that's a completely different target than this 1.7 billion unbanked. So that's something that's really important. Yes, sir.
Yeah, just another question. So if someone else create another type of wallet, and then it doesn't have KYC and something happens with it, would the association be held liable?
No, we have no idea. That's going to be the negotiation with the regulators. And we are just starting on that. Now, I'll show you in a minute, I think is the trick till we get all to that. That's at the end. I have two punchlines at the end that I haven't seen anybody write yet. But